Hello guys, now we're gonna interview Cyrus Paklam. He's one of the a top shooter in Hong Kong. Last World Shoot 2018 Action Air, he got bronze medal at the standard division and he play real steel and he is doing a good job in real steel. Last World Shoot 2023 or 2022 he got 11th place at the World Shoot Real Steel. Now, listen and learn from him. This is a really nice interview with him. Again, I'm not prepared and it's just a casual interview. A very long casual interview. So, hello guys. Hello. So,
Kamusta mo?
nice Tagalog. We're here in the Philippines. I'm not in Hong Kong, so we're with Cyrus Paklam. What's your
Surname?
huh?
Surname?
Yeah,
Lai Paklam.
Lai Paklam.
Yeah.
So your how do you call it? A Chinese name?
Chinese name.
Yeah.
Chinese name is Lai Paklam and my English name is Cyrus. Hello.
Hello. So it's one of the GM and one of the solid shooter when it comes
Thank you.
in action air, and not only in action air. It's very interesting. He's also really good at real steel shooting. The one that I cannot forget, he beat Jetro Junicho last Outside Asia, right?
Luckily, yeah. It shoot off early, not the overall.
yeah, on the shoot off, but still, that's Jetro Junicho. That's maybe the best shooter in the Philippines. I guess he's like the
It's a legend.
legend, like Eric Rafael in the Philippines from the solid shooter. So it's really interesting. Now, this guy, he's one of my favorite shooters when it comes to airsoft practical shooter and real steel. So it's really a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start. So the first question is, when do you start shooting?
I started shooting when I was around 10, 11 years old.
Now,
So, the story is actually quite interesting. So my father is actually a RC car player, and
RC
he
car.
worked so hard and trained so hard, and he competed all around the world, and he finally became a consultant in the Hong Kong RC industry. Okay, and when I got older, okay, I started to find I was playing table tennis when I was really young, golf when I was really young, and I'm not really into those sports. And I asked my father, can I play RC car? And his first reaction was, oh no, you break all the RC car. You don't play RC car, you go play guns. And I started doing some shooting when I was like maybe 8, 9 years old. My father is working in a school as a teaching assistant in design and technology. So I was doing some shooting, target shooting in the design and technology, the DT lab. And slowly, when I got into secondary school in Hong Kong, I joined some of the war game and some of the practical shooting training, and they considered it something like a leader training program for personal development. Okay, so after my first attempt on the practical shooting, I found myself, I think I can achieve something. And then I started to invest my time and put effort on it, start practicing, attending classes, go to all gun clubs to practice, to shoot, to ask people questions, how can I be better? And slowly, there are, in Hong Kong, what we call something like school competition, like joint school competition between schools and college, NGO, different organizations, and I finally start winning, and I was very happy with it. But my family wasn't very supportive back then, so I worked even harder. I even go practice every day after school, and when it was 20 12, 13 something, I finally got my overall results, ranking maybe fourth, third place, and I got my champion in the youth cup in Hong Kong. And I went to UK to study, and in 2014, and I started to like touching the championship line of competition in my shooting career. And luckily I won first place, first runner-up in the first ever European Airsoft Action Air Championship. And then I started to think that, oh, this is my career.
Then, when did you go back? I have a follow-up question. When did you go back in Hong Kong?
I went back to Hong Kong in 2015 because if some of you might know me, I am actually working in Warzone. Warzone is a war game venue in Hong Kong. Skirmishing, something like a CQB simulator.
What's again the name?
Warzone. Warzone. WARZON.
Oh yeah.
And before Warzone, I was hosting HKPS Gun Club, and I'm a machinist also, so we make stuff. Okay. But when I was in the UK, I wasn't studying anything related. I was studying photography. So when I was in the UK, I found myself, I love photography, but I'm not good at it. So I decided to move on to something else. So I went back to Hong Kong. I started working in Alpha Airsoft. Thank you, Richard and Samson, by the way, for giving me the chance to work in Alpha Airsoft back in the day. I learned so much throughout the process. I decided to build my own brand, Mechanics Guy. I decided to start teaching classes in the gun club. And yeah, that's it. That's the reason that drives me back to Hong Kong.
Nice, at least. Before you're doing shots,
Yeah.
now you're doing shoots.
You put both of your trigger finger,
Trigger finger.
you know? And you need a support hand to do that.
Well, that's interesting. So that's interesting. So now, how old are you? By the way,
I'm 26.
26. So you're been graduated. I'm not sure what's the age for.
I actually kind of graduated. Yeah, but not fulfilling. It's not, because you need a certain number of subjects to fulfill the requirement to graduate. But I almost did it. Yeah. So, but yeah, in Hong Kong, 26, 25 years old should be the age of people finishing their university, or maybe for some of them maybe master, PhD. No, PhD is too far away.
So that's long. So most of your money are coming from the practical shooting or the shooting airsoft shooting
In the industry, yes.
Wow, that's interesting. At least now you're doing what you're really doing.
Yeah, I think. Well, for me, I love the sport.
Yeah,
I kind of like guns, but what I love the most is the sports, serving people, sharing. As my mentor taught me that shared to me that it's not only about shooting a target. It's about expressing yourself, sharing with others, and inspiring others. Yeah. And that's my goal in this industry.
Guys, you hear that? You should learn how to share. So I'm gonna share this video. Well, that's interesting. I'll just gonna give a little background about myself. I'm also an IT graduate. Before, maybe I worked for almost 10 years at IT industry, but now I'm just doing more on shooting stuff also. More on, if you're familiar with CS Pro Custom,
Yes.
so in local, I am a little.
I think this is a great brand. you work very hard, and it's actually very nice.
They have no choice.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. My impression about the brand.
Yeah. So here in the Philippines, the airsoft is still evolving. It's not like in Hong Kong. Almost all of the good stuffs are there, and like him, he's one of the insane. He's doing a lot of insane stuff when it comes to airsoft, which later we will talk about it. So here in the Philippines, it's still blooming. So most of my ideas or most of the products I'm leaning towards to Hong Kong because there's a lot of really good stuff. There's also stuffs that we're having now a good stuff, but still Hong Kong is the good stuff. It's to get the good stuff, especially the custom parts they have. Anyway, for the practical shooting stuff, how do you treat them? For example, in a week, in a month, what are you doing when you're at home? What are you doing at the range? And what are the preparation are you doing? For example, small matches or big matches? That's a lot of questions.
Well, in Hong Kong, because I'm working in a company right now, not working as a gun club president anymore. Okay. So I will start by what I do back in the day. So when I was younger, when I was holding a gun club, I basically train every day. I don't build stages. I do basic drills like as simple as the field drill. Okay, and maybe some point to point, target to target. I work on fundamental stuff mainly. And when I start building stages for the practice section, practice evening, we will do some stages like a lot of cut wheel, or what we call it in Hong Kong, we call it cut wheels. Okay, so something like a large degree transitioning, lots of hidden target. Not the appearing one, but those that you have to lean forward or go to a certain position to shoot it. We will do that to improve your stage solving skills, your memory, of course, and especially when you're shooting classic production, you have to be very decisive where you're going to do the reload, how are you going to speed up, slow down, etc. etc. We will focus especially on those elements. And nowadays I normally go back to the club during the training session. I will focus on dry fire because admittedly most of those elements are already in my bones. But what I'm lacking of is the actual practice. So I will have to go back to the very basic thing again. Dry firing, core stop, which means draw for poster, shooting one shot only. After that one shot, you have to review everything about yourself. From your toe, your head, your eye, trigger finger, how are you standing, how are you gripping, how are you pulling. And then this is the only way for me at the moment to really look deeper into how am I doing nowadays.
So that's more on, are you more on video, or you're asking your teammates to watch that kind of
To be honest, being so selfish, I don't have much time looking after them. There's a sad thing to say, but what I'm trying to do right now, working in Warsaw, is to expand the circle, the society of airsoft in Hong Kong. So I'm actually working hard on a different factor, a different point of view. Yeah, but I still spend time accompanying my club mates. Whenever they have questions to ask, I will try my best to answer them and help them.
One interesting question about his pistol, before I ask the question, I tried so many pistols in Hong Kong, airsoft pistols specifically. Most of the setups are more on light recoil, 3D printed slide, but this guy has a different setup. It's very interesting.
So the interesting thing from our gun club, our culture, that is, it became our culture already.
Different culture, yeah.
Because most of our members, their goal is to
Shoot real steel.
shoot real steel to connect to the real steel fundamental. So 90% of them, starting from the very beginning, they will start using steel slide pistol. Even if they're not using a steel slide, they will make it like super hard kick, very very heavy. Not terribly heavy trigger, but reasonable trigger pull, similar to the real steel. Okay, we will make it super short, just like the real one, but we will make it as heavy as a normal regular, let's say a 40 caliber standard gun, around maybe like 2 pounds something. Yeah, 2 pounds. Yeah. 2 pounds. And me, especially my other clubmate Thomas, we're all using steel slides. The only reason is, well, for myself, if I'm not shooting a heavy recoil gun, my trigger won't react. So which means if I'm shooting a 3D printed slide, I would start having trigger freeze if I'm not very focused. So I cannot shoot with my consciousness, and yeah, it will go really bad. Yeah, that's it.
So it's very interesting because they're more leaning on the real steel.
Yes.
Real steel side. Do you think the heavy airsoft or the heavy, what you call that, heavy setup for airsoft, is it really helping for the real steel transition?
The most important element is the pistol has to be heavy enough.
Yeah, only the weight, but not the recoil. Yeah,
the recoil we can actually simulate it like very close to a true tool nowadays. Even actually a 38 Super, we can have the muzzle flip very similar to an open gun. The only difference is the power. Okay. The power factor is obviously a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
But we can already mimic the muzzle flip, the muzzle rise of an open gun. So it's actually very helpful. For standard and classic division, we mainly focus on the weight. And one very important thing is many airsoft players, when they first touch the real steel, when they rack the gun in especially chamber empty or gun empty condition, after they inserted the magazine, they won't be able to rack the slide fully. So one of our most significant setup is we will have a full travel slide. We don't put
shock buffers.
We'll put one. We really afraid because we're still afraid that the slide will damage the frame.
Yeah.
So we'll put one shock buffer, only for protecting. Yeah, and a heavy recoil spring also. Well, but not a super heavy one. It's gonna be reasonable. Yeah, and also if you use a heavier recoil spring, it will also increase the muzzle slip. So it's actually a very reasonable thing to do to have a heavier recoil spring.
Wow. Well, interestingly, how do you use it in Hong Kong? Because most of the ranges in Philippines, you can do that setup because it's hot here. But in Hong Kong, most of the ranges are in air conditioned. It's really cold. It's freezing cold.
Actually, many people will heat up the magazine. We do heat up our magazine.
Superheated.
But interesting thing is we just make it warm.
Just warm.
Our solution, our method is to make the gun really smooth. If it's smooth enough, it's okay. And the balance of the gun, if it's balanced, you will have a much more significant recoil. Yeah. And one thing you can do is you use a larger loading muzzle.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't mind sharing with you guys, is the FPR one and the AW large loading nozzle. Before the FPR made a loading nozzle housing for that specific loading nozzle, we were using the AW set with the nozzle and the nozzle housing. We milled it, modified, and put it into a normal slide. Yeah, it helps to have a stronger recoil.
Yeah. Actually, the AW or I guess it's the same, right? AW and nozzle. Or they have a little difference.
I actually still couldn't figure out.
Actually, they're mid-end, but they're not bad. The nozzle is not bad. Not bad at all. It's working. It's as long as you're using good BBs. Yes. Here in the Philippines, bad BBs is really popular.
And actually, we tried the CO2, and
That's extreme.
yes,
That's extreme.
it works really great, like very well, but the gun will break very easily.
Yeah, and I guess it's not also allowed in action air.
It's kind of allowed it, but
It's
it's expensive.
Yeah,
It's almost as expensive as you're shooting maybe a 2.2 or reload 9mm. Yeah, so
and it's also the hassle of changing the couplets.
yeah, very
It's
difficult.
It's very difficult. Yeah, it's much easier to load the real gun versus changing couplets, putting BB, putting silicone oil. Man, that's really a hard stuff. But I guess if you're training for real steel and you have no choice, I guess that's a good option. Oh, it's very interesting. The
FPR.
FPR, and FPR. And also the steel slide you're using FPR.
Yes.
So in the real matches, like the Hong Kong Nationals, you use that pistol.
Yes.
Ooh, what the hell? Imagine that, guys. He has a handicap, but he won the match. You're also shooting open gun with that setup?
Not at the moment because I haven't got the right slide for my open gun. But I actually use a raw, like a 70% finish slide, like a cap spin in real steel. I made some very simple cut to maintain the weight, so it's around 120% heavier than the normal gunsmith pro slide.
Yeah, so it's almost near heavier than a stock wheel slide.
It's 140 grams, 130, 40 grams.
Yeah, that's much heavier than a V slide.
Yeah.
V slide is around 120, but there's
I think it's around the same.
Yeah, but there's the inside components.
And we also use a steel spring plug, and the cylinder inside the building also we use steel also.
Ooh, see. Maybe in the future you're gonna use tungsten.
It's hard to manufacture.
Let's wait for him to do
no,
it.
we actually put tungsten gyro in standard and classic.
I see.
Yeah, because it's
Expensive airsoft.
we did it to simplify, to actually to mimic the weight of the real steel. We obviously can't put a tungsten slip barrel on it, right?
Yeah. But the thing, your pistol is still well, it's heavy blowback.
Yes.
If it is not heavy blowback, most probably you're gonna have a problem. The cycle. Yeah, and I guess the cycle, because it's pushing downwards this slide. Because tungsten is really heavy for an airsoft. It's really heavy. Well, that's a very interesting setup. That's why I really like this guy and their community. They have different culture, or maybe every gun club in Hong Kong they have different culture, but their gun club has a really different culture, really different style. So it's very interesting. Good thing I have this guy. We're talking to this guy. How do you prepare for your real steel match?
Okay, so here comes the difficult part.
Yeah.
So, for example, today I just arrived in the Philippines and I haven't even fired a single shot yet. I was working on my open gun all day and I'm gonna shoot a match tomorrow. I don't know, I just keep shooting matches and to practice. Yeah.
But before, as I remember,
Well, shoot.
yeah, before World Shoot or before Austral Asia, someone told me that you shoot 10,000 rounds just for training.
Yes, before
Only-
World Shoot.
How many days you spend the 10,000 rounds?
I think 20 days.
20, 20 days.
Okay,
So it's like 1,000 rounds per
Yeah.
day. Wow, that's
because
that's a lot.
it's
That's
World
a
Shoot. World Shoot is World Shoot.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And it's worth investing. And it was my first World Shoot. My first World Shoot supposed to
in
be
steel World Shoot.
supposed to be in 2017, but because of many different other reason, I don't care. I don't want to give a about it anymore. So my first world shoot was in 2022, and it was in Thailand. So it's actually a great opportunity. It's close to Hong Kong. It's close to Philippines, and then I'm so lucky that I have my Filipino friend to carry the gun for me, and I got 20 days to work on my competition gun. So it was good enough. I ranked 14, and I think it's acceptable.
That's good. Just training. Most of this only training for 20 days real still, and then maybe most of your training are airsoft. Ranking 14. That's still good. Even here in the Philippines, a lot of shooters, they're training real guns for so many bullets, but they cannot rank 14 below or 10. But that's Australasia. What's your ranking? I guess you're 8. Oh, still. You're that, guys. I guess you ended up 86. 86. Well, that's
World
good.
shoot is 89.
The top shooter of Austral beating
Yano.
Yeah, that guy is good.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that
He's
guy
a
is
friendly guy, very friendly guy too.
Yeah. The bald guy, that's a monster in single stack.
Yeah.
It's really good. At Real Steel now, what are you planning to shoot? Because
I think
last
I
time
will-
classic.
I think I will keep shooting open until world shoot.
So in World Shoot, you're gonna shoot open.
Classic. Until world shoot.
Until-
when
sorry,
it's
yeah.
world shoot, I will switch back to classic.
Yeah. Classic, Real Steel, World Shoot.
Yes.
Then at Airsoft,
I don't know, maybe open.
open.
Maybe open.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, wait, I may be standard.
Standard.
Because last time I lost.
What is your ranking at World Shoot?
A second runner up.
Second. So War Out is the first and you're the second.
First, and the second, first runner up is
yeah.
Yanti. I was second runner up.
Well, you're still doing good.
But with the leg injury, I think it's acceptable.
I have.
I don't know why every time, lucky me, except the real steel world shoot, every time I shoot a big competition, I will have injuries. I have no idea why. Last time I had a steel pillar lock on my toe. This time I hurt my neck. And airsoft world shoot, I slipped on the floor and both my knees were hurt. And Australasia, I hurt my back or something.
Handicap.
I don't know. Last Australasia was actually quite a nightmare for me because every day after the match I just go straight back to hotel and sleep. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's handicap for him because he's really good.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Well, I guess that's it. Well, I guess before we end up, you can plug your business here.
Well, I think I'm not very into doing that
No,
but
yeah.
I think if you have any further question you want to ask me about or want us to talk about, feel free to share it, and we'll see you again.
Yeah. So put your comment in the section below. So we will try to answer it, and I'm gonna answer it also. And yeah, this is a nice guy. He just look very serious, especially at the match. So don't talk to him at the match. You can talk to him after that because I know the feeling especially when you're in a match. You need to be on focus. So this guy is really cool. So thank you, bro.
Alright.
So-
See you in Hong Kong, Philippines.
Yeah, most probably we will see. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. Because I'm gonna shoot also at the Aguinaldo, and I'm gonna shoot also in Krabi.
And Karing.
No, not in Karingal. Only two.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Alright, bye.